Hi friends, welcome back to Miss Melissa's Story Time. I have another one of my very favorite stories to share with you. It's called Growing Gold. It's about farming and growing plants, and I don't know if you've noticed around in your yard or in your neighborhood, there are a lot of plants growing this time of year. But this story is about a lot more than growing plants. So as you listen, try to figure out what you think the moral of the story is. And we'll talk about that at the end. Growing gold. In a village on the Great Plain in India, there once lived a farmer with 3 lazy sons. The farmer had a field where he planted wheat, but his sons never helped him. The farmer's wife was upset with her lazy sons. They sat in the house all day, dreaming about gold, but never doing any work. She scolded them, but they would not listen. All they ever said in reply was, "We don't want to be farmers. We just want to make a lot of gold." Finally, the farmer's wife thought of a plan. "My sons," she said to them, "there is a secret that I have not told you. Long ago, my father buried a treasure of gold in this field. If you find it, you may have it all." It must be her father burying the treasure. The sons looked up with interest. "How deep is the treasure buried?" asked the first son. "Where in the field is it buried?" asked the second son. "What should we do to find it?" asked the third son. "I'm not sure," she said. "Maybe if you plow the field, you will find it." The next morning, the farmer's sons were in the field before the morning mists had lifted. They hitched oxen to their plows and began to dig up the hard earth. Okay, so there's one of the sons with the plow and the oxen is pulling it. "Rest," said the farmer's wife to her husband. "Let your sons plow the field. They are young and you are old. It is time they worked for their living." The farmer smiled at her, and together they watched their sons working in the field. That evening, the sons returned looking sad. "What is the matter, my sons?" asked the farmer's wife. "We did not find the treasure," said the first son. "It must be buried deeper than the plow can reach," said the second son. "What can we do to find it?" asked the third son. "Maybe if you plant these seeds, the roots will dig down deep enough to curl around the gold and pull it up. They are very special seeds," said the farmer's wife. The farmer looked at the seeds in the wife's hand and smiled. "These seeds are special indeed," he said. Early the next morning, the farmer showed his sons how to sow the seeds. All day long, his sons sowed the special seeds. That evening, they were too tired to talk. The next morning, they looked out at the field, hoping to see their gold. They turned to their mother with faces as long as wheat sheaves. "What is the matter, my sons?" asked the farmer's wife. "You do not look happy this morning." "The seeds have not sprouted yet," said the first son. "Our gold has not been pulled up yet," said the second son. "What can we do to help the roots reach the gold and pull it up?" asked the third son. "Water the field," said the farmer's wife. All day, The sons dug a ditch to bring fresh river water to the field. So see, this is the river, and they're digging, it's called an irrigation ditch. They're digging this ditch from the river so that they can get the water closer to their field. That evening they returned with smiles on their faces. "You are smiling, my sons," said the farmer's wife. "The smell of wet earth is wonderful," said the first son. "The sparkle of the water is beautiful," said the second son. "Should we do the same tomorrow?" asked the third son. "Yes," said the farmer's wife. "Your father will show you how to tend the seeds until they pull the treasure up by their roots." The next day, the farmer's sons sang as they worked. The sun beat down on their backs, but they enjoyed feeling the soft, rich earth between their fingers. They were in the field every day, tending the plants that would one day grow strong roots and pull the hidden treasure out of the soil. They worked from early dawn to late dusk. Some nights they lay in bed, too tired to think. There they are, working hard in the field. The farmer watched them growing strong in their bodies and in their love for the land. One morning, as the first ray of sunlight broke through the clouds, the first son looked out upon the fields and saw something sparkling. "Gold! Gold!" he shouted. "My brothers, we have our gold at last." The other two rushed to the window. As far as the eye could see, stalks of wheat were waving in the morning sun. The field was a sea of grain. At last, the three sons understood what the treasure was that had been hidden in the ground. "Mother, the treasure that was buried has surfaced at last," said the first son. "Mother, the seeds have reached deeper than we thought," said the second son. "They have pulled to the surface something that slept within us." "Father, can you show us how to harvest the grain?" asked the third son. They're so excited. The farmer turned to his wife with a smile of thanks on his face. Then he went out with his 3 hard-working sons to reap the golden harvest. So, why do you think the sons started to feel so good? First, they were so lazy, and then when they started feeling the earth in their hands and being outside and feeling the sunshine, they started to feel much better. Sometimes hard work can make us feel good, and I know a lot of you have felt that in our classroom. When you work hard, it just feels so good. But also, during this time, you can go outside and plant things in your yard or watch the plants grow. That's something I've been doing in my yard a lot. It's the perfect time to do that here in Charlotte because it's spring and it's starting to get a little warmer outside. The days are longer, so there's more sunshine that the leaves of the plants can gather. And it's time for plants to grow. So I'm sure some of you are planting a garden at your house. Some of you might be planting vegetables. Some of you might be planting flowers. So that would be a really, really healthy thing for you and your family to do during this time when we all have to stay at home. I've been going to school and gardening a little bit with Miss Charlotte. I've been pulling weeds in our classroom garden and pulling weeds in the peace garden and helping those flowers and plants grow. So think about what the moral of the story is. Was it gold, like money gold, that they were that is the most important, or was there something more important in this story, more important than the gold that is from money? I think that's all I have for today. So I will see you next time. Bye bye.